Hey, everybody. If you have an amazing offer but can't communicate and position your offer to your audience, well, then it's just not going to sell. So that is why today's micro habit is going to be so important to your success. So we are going to dig in deep to the power of messaging and positioning your offer successfully and give you action items that will surely increase eyeballs on your offer. So stick around. I want to welcome you all to the Entrepreneur Expansion Show. This is the first ever gamified show that helps entrepreneurs master their subconscious mind, body, and business by implementing micro habits into their lives in a fun, supportive, action oriented way to create more transformational impact and income. And how often do you listen to podcasts or watch a YouTube video and do absolutely nothing with it, folks? So we hope to change that today and give you a really big return on investment on your time here and get the exact mind and business habit that can really transform your business like today, y'all. So we are in the presence of greatness today, folks. We have the legendary Holly Maccue with us today, and I don't actually know anybody better than her when it comes to magnetic messaging. So hold on your hat because we're gonna go deep and uh, uh, blow your mind. So here we go. Thank you so much for coming on today, Holly.
Thank you, Matt. What an intro.
I know everyone's gonna be like, "This has got to be good." So,
Yeah. Need to
so
deliver now.
yeah. Well, Holly, like I guess a good place to start is like, what got you into messaging? Like, how did you get here? Because not, I mean,
Yeah,
some people don't even necessarily. I think some people don't even know what this is or what it means. They've heard it, but it's like, how does one fall into the messaging and positioning world?
great question. So, my background, just very briefly, is a decade of experience working as a brand strategist in Fortune 500 companies. So, I worked at Procter and Gamble and then Unilever in the UK, Switzerland, and then Australia. So, I was working on global, multi-million dollar and even billion dollar brands. And really learned so much from kind of the insider secrets of what it takes to captivate an audience to such advocacy and loyalty that even when the competition brand is on half price on the shelf next to you, you still want the one that you've always bought, right? And
Yep.
that is not ever down to just sales tactics, right? That's never down to just the price point of the packaging or anything like that. It's down to what you have created, what you stand for in the hearts and minds of your audience. And it's interesting when it comes to messaging because I felt called towards wanting to support people to sell for a while, but I didn't want a bar of the hard selling tactics, the pushy,
Mm.
pressury, icky awkwardness that unfortunately is still plaguing the online space, still like
Yes.
taught so widely. And so I resisted it. I resisted niching into this for years. And then I thought about some of the crazy things that I had managed to manifest for myself. So just to give you a couple of examples, I actually negotiated a 3-day part-time role as a senior brand strategist in a fast-moving consumer goods industry in a demanding role, which was unheard of at the time, so that I had this space to work on my side hustle. And I managed
Nice.
to bring that about in a way that everyone thought it was an amazing idea. Like my boss, my directors, they were like, cool, you can bring really cool insights in from your business into the corporate space. And my clients were like, oh, she really gets what it's like to be in this world because I was supporting professionals at the time with a more purposeful career path. And it was seen as this total win-win. And yet it was like, everyone was like, oh my God, how did you do that? And then very quickly in my business, I was able to hit these milestones where they were kind of defied logic. So I hit my first six figures in my business with just 600 people on my list, my first multiple six figures with just 1,200 people on my list. And this did not come down to me, barricading someone in a corner and being like, hey, buy my thing, buy my thing, buy my and if you don't, you're going to regret it. Like, really,
Yeah, so
loser.
folks, the first takeaway is do not barricade people in the corner and make them buy your stuff. So that's the first gold nugget. Keep going, Holly.
It doesn't work,
It
right? And
doesn't.
we've
No.
all, the reason so many of us resist sales is because we've all been on the receiving end of those pressury tactics where we were like,
100%.
either I need to say yes and then resent you later, or I need to pretend that I'm gonna buy and then ghost,
Yep.
like disappear off a cliff into the
Yes.
sunset and block you, right? So none of that is actually coming down to what gets people on board easily and therefore makes sales effortless. And all of that comes down to your messaging. It's literally how are you making it easy for someone to say yes? How are you making it easy for someone to know you are the person for them? And that's why messaging plays such a powerful role. This is literally the deal breaker. And it doesn't matter if something is free or something is paid, you still need to sell it. And your messaging is the reason why someone comes on board or why they keep scrolling because they have no freaking clue what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. It's everything. It's what I love storytelling. It's like one of my favorite things when it comes to selling and messaging and marketing and all that. It's like, why do you think stories are so good when it comes to the messaging piece? Like, why do you think it helps out when it comes to the messaging? I know, but I would love your take on it.
Well, so storytelling in particular, and this comes from like more of a biopsychology perspective, what it's doing is it's creating mental pictures and images for us, right? So you might tell your story, and I'm immediately picturing you in that moment, right? So I talk about the
Yeah,
defining moment when I decided, oh my gosh, I need to change direction in my career. And it was this defining
totally.
moment of having dinner with friends in London, overlooking the Thames River on a Friday night and eating pizza and thinking, oh my God, I guess I'm just going to be happy when I retire. And it was this moment, but just that tiny little bit of detail I shared, you've pictured something in your head, right? Not might
Yeah,
not have been the exact way it looked for me, but it doesn't matter.
yeah,
And why that's so important is because now we're connected. We're connected to your story from an emotional perspective because it's our subconscious mind's language,
bingo.
right? So the subconscious mind only understands mental images and pictures. And if you do not create that multisensorial detail, which storytelling is such a beautiful, powerful way to do, then you're only speaking to like 5% of the person in terms of their decision making process, right? 95%
Sure.
of our reactions, responses, decision making is governed by the subconscious, and that is why storytelling is literally magical when it comes to landing a message with relevance.
That's why I run this entire show, because the subconscious runs everything, like you just said, and it's really driving the whole thing. So when people read boring messaging, you get boring results,
Yeah.
And when you read something and you're like, "Oh my goodness, they wrote this for me. This was for me." Like, you have them. You're in their head. So I know this is probably going to be a tall task right now, but if you had one thing, if kind of like you said, I put you in a corner and I say, you have one thing that you can share with these folks that they can go and do and take action on today, that can just really enhance their messaging. What do you think that would be?
I think one of the most important things to remember is people are not buying your value. People are buying what they value. People are buying what they understand, and people are buying what they want. So you might be amazing at what you do. And this is the frustration, right? We're so good. I know I can help you. Like I can see exactly what you need to do from my vantage point because I got all this experience and expertise. Like if you just move these things around. But they're like, I don't know what you're going on about, right? And so there's like the disconnect because we're leading from our positioning and we're not meeting them in the moment of where they're at. What is actually going on for them in their head? What are they actually thinking, saying, feeling in that moment? What is their concept of the problem? You know it's not actually that, but they don't yet. And every time you come too many steps ahead of them, too high level, you miss the mark and you miss the sale. So the most important thing is to get that concept of what is it they want, not yet what they need. They don't understand what they need. But if you have that receptivity and bring them on board with showing that you understand what their most pressing problem is at this point in time, then they will listen to you when you tell them what they actually need to change, right? It's like I've got young kids. I know you do as well. I've got a 4 and a 7-year-old. My God, the tantrums and the meltdowns that we experienced as they look to regulate their big emotions is next level, right? And if I'm trying to
Next
reason
level.
with my 4-year-old about why we need to share the toy with the 7-year-old. When she's sobbing uncontrollably and flaked out on the floor, nothing's going to land, right? I need to be with her in that moment. I need to just hold
Yeah,
her. I need to understand her. I need to acknowledge that this is really upsetting and frustrating for her.
totally.
And until I do that, she's not listening. She's literally tuning out. She can't hear what I'm saying about if we
100%.
just, did this really good approach, then everyone would be happy. So it's the same concept.
Yeah.
So what is it that they are actually thinking they need, want at this point in time, right? So an example of this, if you are really skilled, for example, in subconscious mind. That's what you use. If you're a mindset coach, let's just take as an example, and you talk a lot about NLP and emotional intelligence, and you're just plugging your NLP tools, like these are the great things, NLP will change your life. It will make your career better. You'll be able to smash out all your goals. And they're like, yeah, I just really need to know how to talk to my asshole of a boss in a way that is not a career limiting move and tell them I cannot deal with this workload right now.
Yep.
But the moment that you shift tack and you enter that conversation really specifically and say how to bring on board anyone in your workplace so that you can hold a boundary, push back on the workload, negotiate the salary that you know you are well overdue for, even if they're a complete asshole. And without it being a career limiting move, would you be interested to know how? Right? Okay, now you've got my attention. Hell yes.
Yeah, yeah, you just sold people. They didn't even know what they were buying right there. I lo- I lo- I love this so much, Holly. Like I explain this to my clients. I say we're meeting them at the doorway, desire or problem, right? Like what they think they need. So it's like I need to lose weight. I need to find the love of my life. I need to, save more money, in my 401k. I need to increase my revenue with lead sales, all this stuff, right? The things that people are thinking about, the things that people are Googling.
Mm,
And I just love I love the analogy that you used with children because that's really what it is. It's like, are we meeting them at that emotional state?
mm,
And because the emotion is the language of the subconscious, folks. It's the way that our mind actually. So I say this all the time. Like people want what's safe, familiar, predictable, and certain because that's what their subconscious loves. So if you start talking about something that they don't know about
mm.
and they're confused about, then they're not going to want it. I'll never forget when I first became a rapid transformation therapy practitioner. Like I thought everyone's going to want hypnotherapy. I was like, it's going to, because I know it's the thing, like it changes people's lives and all this stuff. I remember the first year and I was like, nobody wants to do this. Nobody, there's no one wants that wants this. They want their problem solved. They don't want to buy the thing though. That's the thing. So it's like I since 2020, I really don't talk about it and I don't really offer it. It's just part of what I do.
Right.
And I sell them what they want and give them what they need.
Always, every time. It's
The
so
name of this
important.
game.
I mean, just the other day, so my girl, well, my youngest does arts and crafts classes every Friday. And my eldest has been really upset because she's been missing out because my youngest is only part-time at school at the moment because of her age. And then the teacher's like, oh, they could both come on a Saturday morning and it's drop and go. So you can just leave them here for an hour. And I was like, Saturday morning, an hour free time, dropping them at something they want to do. I literally said to her,
Done.
you're speaking my language. I
Yeah.
didn't need to know
Great
what they're
messaging.
going to
Great
be covering.
messaging.
No, like, what are we going to cover in every section
Yeah.
of this hour? I didn't need to know. I didn't need to know anything else. That was it. That's all I needed to know to get my
Yeah.
attention, to bring me on board. And so this comes back to that whole concept of making it easy. If you want easy sales, you need to make it easy for someone to say yes to you. And that means you need to, from the get-go, from the output, make it crystal clear what it is that you're offering that literally is speaking their lingo, right? So how are you
Yep.
piquing that interest, intrigue, curiosity from the get-go? Because once you've hooked their attention, then you can hold that attention. And then you can shift that attention into action by making your offer. But it starts with the hook. So in terms of just another micro messaging habit, it needs like you really need to dial into how am I stopping the scroll in the first place and not waiting till the seventh minute of the video that I've put out there to say the damn
Yeah.
thing. Like, what is it
Totally.
they need to hear from the very opening that is going to mean they're not going to keep scrolling onto the next, silly cat video and they're literally tuning into you. So I find so often people are missing the opportunity to get more eyeballs, as you said at the beginning, on their stuff in the first place because they're not thinking about those opening lines and the hooks. You have 2.5 seconds online to capture attention, and then the moment's gone.
Eyeballs are everything, folks. If you can't get eyeballs, then you can't, then no one's going to read your message anyways. So it doesn't matter. So we need to stop the scroll. So if someone was to go out and implement this habit like today or tomorrow after listening to this episode, like let's break it down in the most digestible, like what's the first thing they do? I know a lot of people, if you're a little bit further along in this game, you're going to understand your market. So you're going to
Yeah.
understand what they want. So I think a precursor to this, folks, and I'm assuming you would agree, like you have to do your market research. You have to know what they want. You got to talk to people, right? So once you've talked to enough people and they tell you what they want, stop selling them what you think they want.
Yeah.
And what would you say is like the first step out of all this?
So I think what we've all had to unlearn, especially if we have been in any kind of professional working environment before becoming an entrepreneur, is that sales is conversational. Like really impactful, what I would call magnetic sales, because my whole framework is magnetic selling. It's conversational, it's not formal. And so many people trying to be too high level, too smart, too clever, too professional in their opening messaging, what I call your front facing messaging, you actually need to literally enter the conversation they're having in their head, right? So again, if I just use the parenting example, it's like 3 ways to support your kids at, in the early years, or how to get out of the house in the morning and on time without your kids or you losing their shit.
I was gonna say, I was like, yeah, I was gonna add to that. I was like, how to get out of the house with their clothes on,
With their
like
shoes on, with
with
both
their
shoes
shoes
on,
on. Yes, totally. With
with
their
their hair
pants
brushed.
on. Yeah, without them screaming with their shirt off.
So,
I love it. That
and
speaks
again, you've just created a mental picture right there, right, Matt?
totally.
So that's the difference. Like, oh my gosh, that was me this morning. That's the first thing. So remember, this is all about how are we connecting? How are we being relatable? That's how you resonate with
Yeah,
relevance, not being at this high level, let's support the emotional regulation of our children.
totally. Yeah,
So
this is
yeah.
gold. Yep, I love that. So that's the first step, folks. Literally step one, think about what your people are thinking about. Ask them what they're thinking about. Enter the conversation in their head. I absolutely love this. And you're coming up with really good hooks that are entering that conversation. So that's step one. And then what would you say is the next step if they're trying to add to that?
So I think what people are actively seeking, and these are the clients that are ready to buy from you, they're already actively seeking the solutions. You need to make it easy to show you have the answers. So again, when you've got that hook, it's, revealing that A, I hear you, I get it, I know exactly what you're going through. Like there's nothing more liberating, right? Than someone telling you that, like, oh my gosh, thank goodness it's not just me, right? So
Yeah,
remember that our core driver as a human being is a sense of belonging and inclusion. So the moment that you can say in those opening moments, once you've hooked them in, I get it, and make them feel seen, heard, understood, it's then about that shift in perspective. So right now, you're thinking that if you just get them to the front door and and make an ultimatum, then, that's the way to do it. Like you're kind of like forcing it instead of shifting a perspective that the challenge is not, getting them out the door. The challenge is them, feeling that they've had a say in how they get out the
Totally.
door, for example. So there's that shift in perspective, which you touched on about, what is the problem they think they have versus the problem they actually need to be addressing in order to get the result they long for. So the shift in perspective is how you demonstrate your authority, your connection, your relatability. But that association in their mind, now that things are popping off, oh my gosh, this whole time I thought I just had to get them out the door, whatever way worked. And I never thought about the fact that they want to have a say and I need to build their self-esteem and their own,
Yeah.
confidence. And then the next immediate question is, well, how do I do that? Right? And so then
Bingo.
you position yourself as, well, this is exactly what I'm just going to show you, right? You're probably wondering, how do I do that? And I have the answers. And then you take them to the next thing and you invite them to access those answers, whether that's the initial free resource, whether that's booking a call with you to clarify your own unique situation further, whether it's your program, and so on and so forth. So this is how you literally build the case. You shift them from, scrolling on Instagram to hooked in, they're speaking my language, to having this incredible aha moment that will literally be life changing, by the way, and they will forever associate back to you as giving them that aha, and then promising them that there is another way and this is how it works. So it's just making sure that your content has those ingredients, as I call it. It's not rigid templates. It's not force-fitting cookie cutter models here. It's the ingredients of what brings someone on board with you.
Yeah, I love it. Folks, if you're vibing with this, if this is like, yes, 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 if this messaging is speaking to you, Holly's doing something super cool. If you're listening to this episode and the thing that Holly is doing upcoming this month, if it's too late, don't worry. She's doing amazing stuff all of the time. So still click on whatever links or that I put in the show notes and on the social media stuff because ultimately you'll be able to find the magic that she's delivering. This specific thing that you're putting out now, Holly, can you give a little breakdown of what's coming up in the next week or so?
Yeah, I have a really cool experience. So if you are recognizing that messaging is your disconnect, the thing that's holding you back, the thing that's making it harder to sell than it should, then I would love to invite you to my 3-day live workshop. It's called You Had Me at Hello. And that is literally what we're going to be creating together, crafting your magnetic mic drop messaging that attracts your premium, ready to invest ideal clients in a way that has them say, I'm in before you even need to pitch. So this is 3 days of live teachings, but it's also implementation. You're going to access Q&As with me. We have a private pop-up Facebook group, and I'm going to teach you how to craft not just mic drop messaging that really hooks and holds attention and from the right people, but I'm also going to be going into offer messaging, which is absolutely critical, so that
Totally.
billboard headline to describe your offer that is absolutely essential if you want them to even read your sales page. We're also going to be touching on magnetic mindset and authority in your messaging. This is going to equip you with a skill set that will forever change how you show up and how you sell. And it will create, honestly, a ripple effect far beyond these 3 days. And that is something I would love to invite you into. If you are listening to this post the live, then I will be making this evergreen as well.
Love that. Let's go, folks. So if you don't want to do that, I don't know what you're trying to do. Because it just it's gold. Like everybody needs it, y'all. Everybody. Even if your messaging is good, it can get better, can it, Holly?
100%. I'm forever honing and, refining and optimizing my own messaging because
Yeah.
there's the thing, you're going to evolve in your brand. You're going to evolve with your ideal clients and your audience. You're going to evolve with your offers, right? And so you
Yeah.
can't rely on, something that you did for, 2 years ago. It's really, and this is why it's a skill set. It's why it's understanding what moves people, what motivates people to buy. And so what I teach from a very practical perspective is those biopsychology principles, which means you're always going to know how to tap into what your audience really want and know how to deliver
Awesome.
that.
Awesome. And what are the dates for that? Just so people have an idea.
So if you're in the US, it will be the 26th to the 28th of May. And the Facebook group will be open for a whole week. You'll get lifetime access to all the recordings. So no worries if you can't attend a session live. There'll still be plenty of opportunity to get input and support.
Fantastic. Folks, we will include all the links. I'll put them in all of the places so you can jump on this and get into it. And just super cool, y'all. Like, I'm excited to see everybody go and take action on this. Now, feel free to jump in the group and share the hooks that you come up with because that's the power of this. Like if you're taking action on this and you actually take this habit on and you start doing it, see if you can come up with a hook a day or more, right? But if you can just come up with one hook a day and you keep doing this over the next 30, 60, 90, 180 days, you're going to get really good at this. And especially if you attend this workshop with Holly, it's going to change the game for y'all. So, don't miss out on it. Thank you so much, Holly, for coming on and dropping knowledge, dropping wisdom. Always appreciated. And folks, like always, keep showing up, taking action, and you will get results. Have an awesome day.